the graphics. That's really what this is all about.
I was recently discussing video games with a coworker of mine, and he and I got into a topic about whether or not graphics matter. He, being the smooth-brained casual of the two of us, believes that they are, while I, the galaxy-brained Chad, believe they're not. Look, dude, Minecraft sold 175 million copies and it looks like Gary Busey's brain. Satisfied with my Ben Shapiro levels of facts and logic, I went home alone to masturbate and cry using my own tears as lubricant, and he went home to his loving girlfriend. This exchange got me thinking. Do graphics actually matter? Of course they do. I'd rather play Abzu than any text-based game, and I'm not hardcore enough to play Dwarf Fortress. It begs the question, are graphics as important as we think they are? Well, yeah, but that question's way too simple. Because there's multiple schools of thought. There's realistic art, stylized art, abstract art, and pixel art. And even all of those art styles have so many subgenres that it would make a hardcore metalhead blush, but I'll stay on topic. Let's start with the easy one. Realistic art. This includes games like Red Dead 2, your Uncharted, your, believe it or not, Mountain Blade. Realistic art style is always catchy to the eye, and especially to a casual viewer. I can't tell you how many times I've been playing a game or watching TV and an ad comes on and some casual is walking by and goes, "Whoa, look at those graphics." And it makes sense. Since the dawn of cinema, we've strived to make entertainment prettier and crisper. I mean, for fuck's sake, we have 8K TVs for boomers that still play Farmville. Water my plants though? Companies like EA thrive on realistic graphics because that's basically all they really offer anymore. Games like FIFA, Madden, 2K, even the Battlefield games, they just get prettier because they're basically the same exact game every year, but now you can count the pimples on the rookies' faces easier. Get Dr. Pimple Popper to the 35-yard line stat. We have a blackhead emergency. But the sad part is the graphics in these games are breathtaking. I genuinely cannot wrap my head around how much work and specificity went into games like Red Dead 2. I mean, the horse's balls shrink in the snow. Next up, we have stylized graphics. Games like Wind Waker, Overwatch, Limbo, and Okami. This is where an artist is allowed to flex their talents. So instead of just a regular dog or a person, you get a Matarasu in the TF2 Heavy. This is where you really get to see the artist make art. I mean, you look at Okami and tell me that that's not Kubrick levels of beautiful on every frame. One of the draws of stylized art is that it can be so beautiful in the stark contrast to realism. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 looks like a window into the future, but I'd personally rather live in the world of Overwatch. And it's not just for the butts. Come here, Genji, you little fox. Then games like Limbo come in and make true art out of the genre. I mean, you don't need a Titan RTX when you're only trying to use 2 colors and a background. So yeah, games like Limbo are kind of sold on the graphics, but shut up, let me finish. Unless we forget World of Warcraft, which released 16 years ago and has remained relatively unchanged ever since, compared to EverQuest 2, which released 2 weeks before that, and it still hovers around 200,000 monthly players. World of Warcraft has 5 million monthly players, and it's not for the graphics. It's for the cocaine. What do you say we mosey on over to the abstract genre? Games like Pong, Tetris, Jazzpunk, and Geometry Dash. This is where things like art direction and classical stylings just get thrown out the window. There's no rules here. Now, even then, granted, most of the time through history of gaming, games were abstract to styled just out of pure necessity. The technology wasn't there for anything better. When Pong released, it was just 2 blocks, a dot, and a couple of numbers. It's hardly Picasso, but that's just because it was restricted by the technology of the time. As time progresses and technology gets better, things get nicer, and you get games like Tetris, and its Genghis Khan-esque level of children that it spawned. It wasn't until the 90s, really, when you started to get the wacky art that we see today, leading to the magnum opus of the abstract art genre, Return of the Obra Dinn. Jackson Pollock himself would have spurted out a couple new ones if he saw this game. The sepia tone color palette, the simple 3D world, The dithering, which is a word I totally knew and didn't figure out after 3 Google searches. The fact that Obra Dinn didn't inspire 1,000 copycats is amazing to me, but I'm just gonna chalk that up to it's harder than it looks. I've never actually even played Obra Dinn, but damn do I like looking at it. Just like that booty, bro. Nice cock.
Hold up.
Moving on, we find ourselves at the butt of many jokes, pixel art. For a couple of years there, it felt like every new game on the horizon was a pixel art game. And it's easy to see why. I mean, it's cheaper and probably easier to make a pixel art game than it is to make 100% realistic graphics like Madden. The art is timeless and, for some, nostalgic. Games like Terraria, Stardew Valley, Papers, Please, and Owlboy are all beautiful games, and fantastic at that. Papers, Please, by the way, which was made by the same guy who made Obra Dinn. Well, we're currently going to our sideline reporter Snoop DOGG for more information. Snoop?
This motherfucker don't miss.
Thanks, Snoop. But if we're gonna talk pixel graphics, I have to show love to something new on the scene. It's a game called World of Horror. Every single frame, every single image in this game was made on Microsoft Paint by one Polish guy after work over the course of 4 years. If that alone doesn't sell this game, I don't know what will. Talking to a representative of Easebrid Games at PAX this year, I was so amazed and impressed by this information, I wanted to throw my wallet at the guy. Imagine Junji Ito and Undertale mixed with a little bit of point and click from the old school days, and you got a combination made to drop panties. All this being said, we find ourselves back at the titular question. Are graphics as important as we think? My Twitter says no, but also yes. I mean, if a game's not fun, but it's beautiful, will people still play it? Well, yeah. People paid money to play No Man's Sky, and that took 4 years to be good. But then the inverse of that is, if a game is ugly, but it's super fun, will people play it? Yes. Absolutely. 1,000 times yes. There's a reason Minecraft took over the world and Kingdom Come Deliverance has been slowly fading into gaming history, and it's not because of the graphics. At the end of the day, I think back on the words of Reggie Fils-Aimé.
If it's not fun, why bother?
If graphics were all that mattered, then Nintendo would have gone bankrupt when Shenmue hit the Dreamcast. But the fact is, Mario runs the gaming world, Sega is a footnote to history, and my computer still can't run Crysis. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you did. And until next time, I'm Shoddy. One love.